Canada just has this incredible outpour of good music. The majority of my favorite bands are Canadian, so when we play there, we have like such a great time because your audiences and music scene is just so strong. So I'm really happy that While She Sleeps kind of connects in Canada.
Welcome to Montreal Rocks. We are sitting here today with Matt Welsh of While She Sleeps. While She Sleeps will be releasing their new album, Sleep Society, on April 16th. Matt, tell the fans of what they can expect and what have you guys done with Sleep Society?
You can expect what I would probably say is the best work I think we've ever made as a band. It's when we were sort of making the record, we were kind of looking as far forward as we were back, and we were kind of trying to listen to ourselves of what the best things we've done over the years and the parts of Sleeps that we've made in previous records that we really love most. And as much as we were trying to progress and do something different, we were also like, what do we enjoy in the inside the band that we have? And so the record kind of goes everywhere. It's like it's got some really good heavy throwbacks to earlier stuff. It's got some us trying some new things, and it's just a real sort of amalgamation of what I think is just our best work. And yeah, I'm just excited for everyone to listen to it. I hate having a record and not having it out because it's like just mine and no one else's, and I just want to give it away and see people enjoy it or hopefully enjoy it and use it themselves for the same way that we use it. So I'm excited. Hopefully everyone will enjoy it as much as we do. That's all we wish.
Yeah, you do talk about like some different, trying some different things, and I know you guys have experimented with a couple of different sounds over the years. But something completely kind of different is the collaboration with Simon Neil from and I'm not even sure if I'm saying Biffy Clyro right. I know
that's bang on.
They're huge in England, and they play for I've never understood, like in England they tour massive venues. Here they play in front of like 30, 40 people.
Yeah, they're humongous over here. They're headlining Download Festival, which is, I don't know what the equivalent is in Canada, but
for Montreal it would be Osheaga. Yeah, we have our Osheaga Festival in Heavy Montreal.
Yeah, Heavy Montreal. Yeah. Biffy are an amazing band, and as well, if you aren't familiar, then it's worth listening to them and some of their earlier records. They've been around forever, and they're a really proper band. They're almost like a mix between the UK's version if you made Foo Fighters and Alexis on Fire have a baby.
Okay.
Well, but with a bit more tech involved, and they're just a really great band. So collaborating with Simon was like something really special, and he's got a beautiful voice, and we reached out, and he was really kind about what we do, and turned out he was a big fan, and he's been sort of paying attention for years, which is something we found crazy. And it was a really fun collaboration because we tried to give all the collaborations on the record, we tried to, instead of saying, oh, here's 20, 30 seconds of you doing your part, have 4 lines, whatever. We just sent them the whole song, all the lyrics with us singing it, and just said, sing along to the whole track, see where you feel like you fit in, see what feels good in your voice, and if there's something you want to add, then do it. If there's something you don't like, then say it, and join the band for the song rather than join the band for half a verse. So it was a really fun collaboration. I mean, we already have 3 singers inside our band, so I don't know if we needed a 4th one, but it's a nice addition.
Given the opportunity, why not, right?
Yes.
You do have one collaboration that's quite interesting on the album, which says on the track Call of the Void. It says featuring Sleep Society.
Yeah.
Speak a little bit about what that is and what that means.
So, for anyone who doesn't know, Sleep Society itself is this this community that we've built, which is like a subscription system, like a subscription-based model. We run it through Patreon. It's something we've always wanted to do to try and step away from the traditional music industry model of essentially selling your rights to your songs for like an advance of money that you then live off and you make the record off, but you never own, you end up selling all your own music. You kind of live out of other people's pockets. And it's a very, it's considered normal, but it's a really backwards way to do things. And it's not a very sustainable way to do things in terms of like, if you want to continue being a band for the rest of your life and you want to live off it, we don't want to be in mansions with fucking fast cars. We just want to be able to do it for a living. And the Sleep Society is basically going to provide that for us. So we're just asking, like, because of the way streaming is, and that's the way people consume music now. So if you like a band, streaming kind of doesn't really make its way to the band anymore. So, or not in a large level. So the Sleep Society, with this enables people to go, I like them, I'll subscribe. You can pay as little as like $4.99 a month, but that will equal us continuing to make music, make records, make videos, and do way more cool shit than we've ever been able to do. So that's why we've done it. And one of the things we did inside of it with the community of people that are in there, which is amazing, we said, we want you to be able to sing on the record. So here's this part, and here's how to record it at home and record it, and then send us in your vocals. And we did that, and we had like 250 people send in vocals, and we like stacked it up on a session in the studio, and it made this like amazing choir, almost sounds like the crowd at a gig. That beautiful thing of everyone's imperfections blurring together to make this really nice sound. And it came out really cool. So there's like 250 Sleep Society members singing on that song.
Amazing. Very, very cool to see. Like, it's a model that I think is very interesting for music, because it's a model that comes from the Patreon, comes from like YouTube and Twitch streamers and people like that. Whereas I think people connect much more with musicians than they do with YouTubers or stuff like that.
Totally. It's a really like, it's just something that I always feel like needed making like aware to people that it's actually quite difficult for musicians to do this kind of job as an actual career, because you can look like you're super successful and have like hundreds of thousands of people listening, but realistically that money, when it gets back to you, it's probably not enough for you to live off if the five of you sort of split that money. And that's if you haven't done like a bad label deal where they take that money anyway. So it's a really like, I feel like it's super important to say this. And also, if you were like a 16-year-old kid who loves playing guitar and wants to get into being in a band, this could be the route that makes that possible. Whereas if this isn't sort of promoted as an obvious route for people, then people will essentially like lose faith with wanting to be in a band and wanting to do this for a living, which for me as a kid was like a huge part of it. I used to see bands and go, God, that's what I want to do. I want to play, I want to travel, I want to like express myself through music, and I want to do that for a living. And yeah, it's taken me 15 years to get here, and I've just got to the point where this is the way to make it actually possible.
Well, that's very cool. I applaud the initiative, and I applaud the, does take a little bit of bravery to step out of the system too. So
sure, thanks, dude.
Wish you guys a lot of success with that. We are, as I said, Montreal rocks, and I don't know if you're aware, but Montreal has a huge rivalry with Toronto. We're basically arch rivals. Now, Toronto's basketball team is called their mantra is "We the North," and the nickname for the city is the Six. Now, you guys have released an album called "The North Stands for Nothing," and this is the Six. Do you guys have a personal vendetta against Toronto? Is that what you're trying to say with those songs?
I did not know that. Oh, so Montreal's nickname is the North.
No, that's Toronto. Their basketball team, the Raptors, all their merchandise says "We the North" on it.
Right. And so it's both Toronto.
They're both Toronto. They're both Toronto. We the North, and the Six. If you've ever listened to a Drake song, he's always talking about the Six. Not that completely different musical realms, but I think Drake kind of permeates. But the Six is the nickname for Toronto. So it's interesting to me. Like, I've always wondered if you guys have. I'm sure it's not actually that. And like we were discussing before, a lot of the bands that you were mentioning on the back, the Flatliners, Protest the Hero, Cancer Bats, are from Toronto. So
yeah, I mean, I'm going to stand very neutral on this. I'm a big Canada fan.
All right.
I'm not going to segregate into where both cities have favorite shows in my heart from us touring in North America, just because it's like when you cross the border from playing in America into playing in Canada, it's like for us, it's like the equivalent to playing a gig in 2010 to playing a gig in 2020. Like I think hopefully America is starting to understand While She Sleeps, but Canada understands While She Sleeps, maybe more so, or more people do. There's definitely people in America who are really enjoying it, but we clicked earlier in Canada, and I don't know if that's because we have taken so much subconscious influence from our favorite bands who are predominantly Canadian. That maybe that lives inside our music, and then when people are listening to that, they can hear those similarities. I don't know, but yeah, it's definitely a place that we adore playing, and like somewhere we always want to come back to. I want to do more there, and I want to make our way to the West. We've only played in Vancouver like once, and we've done London once. But yeah, I'd love to get out that way more and just spend a bit more time there rather than like attaching it to American tour. I'd rather just do a Canadian tour, like as a separate thing rather than like piggybacking.
It's not that long of a tour. We don't have that many big cities, unfortunately. So
a couple of weeks is fine.
Yeah, you can rip through Canada pretty fast. So one of the things a lot of artists, going back to the album, a lot of the artists we're talking to now are talking about is how the pandemic has changed either their album or sometimes albums that wouldn't exist if it weren't for them being stuck at home, and how that changed the process. Did that have any influence on this album, or did that have any change how you approached it?
Yeah, totally. Like it didn't change anything dramatically at the beginning, but then it sort of crept its way into the album. So when we got cut, we were on a tour in America. We'd done Canada and we were finishing up in America. We were in California, and this was like a year ago now, basically. Oh no, in March. And the tour got cut short, and we flew home straight into pandemic. And we knew we were going to start making a record in like September last year, but instead we just said, look, if the year's getting written off, then why are we waiting till September? Let's just go. As soon as we got home from that tour, we were like, right, let's start writing. And as soon as we're ready to record, let's record. And let's take advantage of this time. We usually are touring so much that we are sort of craving that time at home, because we are productive when we're off tour, because we've got this warehouse space that we work out of, and we're often sort of craving that home time so we can do more creative things. And so yeah, we just took advantage of that, and we already had this idea of the Sleep Society. We already had the name for it, and we'd kind of spent that whole tour in North America last March talking about this and how do we do it, like how do we release it, what kind of platform do we use, and then just sort of trying to work out how to do that. And then when we were writing the record, we were working out that at the same time. So we were trying to figure out what does it contain, like what are we giving people back in terms for a subscription, and just that whole project. And all throughout this time, the pandemic is sort of spiraling and snowballing and getting crazier and going on for longer. And at first, I mean, you probably thought the same thing, but when it first kicked off, we were like, oh, it'll be back to normal by the summer, or like,
Yeah.
it'll be a few months, whatever. And then every couple of months you have that like, oh shit, it's going to be a bit longer. So all that time, this thing that we were working on anyway, regardless to whether there was a pandemic or not, started sort of shining more obvious brightly, and kind of going like, is this thing we're making a kind of like a resolution? Oh, that's not the right word. Like it's like an answer to the situation we've been put in. So it's like all these bands are in these crazy situations where we don't know how to survive, and without performance, we don't really have a means of making money. This thing that we were trying to create that's the obvious way to fix our band in this. And we were already making it regardless of the pandemic anyway. So we kind of just said like, maybe we should try and take into consideration how relevant this is right now, and pay attention so that it is a bit of a counteract to the situation we're in, which worked really well because yeah, it's such a simple way to say to people like, look, the bands you love are going to die unless you, like, we're not going to be able to continue doing this unless we get supported by our audiences. So, and that's what happened. And like, I mean, what is it, like 6 months, almost 6 months, and it's instantly like changed the way our band can operate, and like just actually do it for a living and hire the people we need to do it properly, and make our records as good as possible, and just do the things that we want to do, and create the things we want to create without that like, that's not really possible. Now it is, and that's thanks to that model. So it's definitely something that I'd like really try and encourage to other people.
Very cool. You touched a little bit on, like you said, when you're on the road, you kind of wish for home, or you're thinking about home. Now you've released this music, and you're about to release the whole record, and the reception online has been extremely positive to the few songs you've released. So is there kind of the opposite of that now, where you're sitting at home like wanting to play those new songs?
Oh man, yeah, like I am craving musical interaction with an audience so heavily now, like, and it really highlights, like, I never took a live show for granted. Like I am there, and I'm giving my absolute 110% every time I ever play a show, no question. But there's something special about going back to it now, where I feel like I will cherish every single second in front of a room full of people, because we've experienced a year plus without it now. And like, and I've really noticed the lack of, you can release a song like we have just done, and the only thing I can do to feel how that song is going down is like read comments and look through fucking Instagram and social networks. So they're like, it's just in there. Do you know what I mean? It's like that's not what being in a band's for. You make this music
Unreal.
so you can hear it fill a room and you can hear people scream it back at you and like just experience it properly. And it's been sort of crushed down into this tiny little thing, which is like your phone. So I'm the closest thing I can get to watching people experiencing these new songs is like reaction videos. So I've like become addicted to watching reaction videos of the new singles because they're like the closest I can get to a gig or to seeing a member of the audience's face smile when they're singing along or smile when a song kicks in. Like that's the closest I can get. That's the only actual like real reaction or interaction. So I'm like been watching so many of those, which definitely says that I'm ready to go back on tour. And
Do you comment on those videos, or do you?
I occasionally like just put them on my story. If there's a really good one, I just like film it and put it on my story.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that once we get back to live music, there's going to be like this catharsis coming from both the artists and the fans of just like,
Wow.
like we can do this again. Like,
God, it'll be. Can you just imagine like that first moment in a show in a room full of people, and you just hear that like crowd sing along? Like that is just going to be so special, man. I can't wait.
like the first few shows have been announced now here in Montreal.
Nice. When are you announcing shows for? Like September or like the summer?
The earliest one I saw is Deftones in August.
Oh, okay.
Deftones and Gojira will be here in August. So
is that on the same tour?
That's the same night. Yeah, same.
Oh, it's a good tour. That.
If that's my first concert back, I'm gonna be very, very happy about.
Nice.
That, so.
Is that at MTELUS or is it somewhere bigger?
It's at a new venue, Plus Bell, which is where our minor league hockey team plays.
Cool.
We now have our pro hockey and our minor league hockey team in the same city now. So they built an arena for them, kind of a scaled down version. But it's probably about double the capacity of MTELUS. So.
Nice. That venue is amazing, man. I have so many good memories. Like every time I've played there, it's just been magic.
It's a venue I've seen shows in venues across the world, and I'm always happy to come back to.
Yeah,
I've seen some great venues, but to me, like I'm, and it's not lost on most Montrealers that we're lucky to have a venue that has that kind of energy and sound. And we're all very touchy still about calling it MTELUS, even though it's been like 5 years. Because it was Metropolis for the longest time.
Yeah. We played it when it was Metropolis.
Yeah.
But I think it was in the years where I didn't pay much attention to where we were or what was happening. So although I had a really good show, I could never remember the name of the venue. And then the years where I'm paying more attention, I'm like, that's called MTELUS.
Yeah, MTELUS is the phone company, and they bought the venue and rebranded it.
It's the same with all of them. All our venues are called fucking O2s.
Yeah,
and like it's such a shit name, like because it's just a phone company.
Yeah, Metropolis was an institution, and when it got bought over, people. Oh.
They always do.
Yeah.
Sadly.
All right. Well, so check out Sleep Society April 16th, coming from While She Sleeps. Check out their Patreon. Encourage them. They're trying to find new ways to survive as artists, and I think that's amazing. And I think we should support our musicians as much as possible. So go check out the actual Sleep Society group, and if you like the album, become a fan and support the band. And
so
look forward very, very much to having you back in Montreal.
Oh, me too.
And to being able to welcome our friends from across the pond back.
I will share a beer with you when we're there, hopefully.
Excellent. I look forward to it quite immensely.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, brother. Take care.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.